So I actually was born in Cambridge. I grew up here. So I've been here for a really long time, actually, in this neighborhood particularly. So it's fun to be involved with the gallery since it is such like a local institution. It's really exciting to see it kind of grow up over the past few years. I remember when it used to be a furniture store and other things here first. That the first involvement that I had with the gallery was the 30 Under 30 show. So I just walked by one day and they had a call for submissions. That was the first time that I showed anything in the gallery. And that was a really fun experience. There were artists from all over the place, and that was my first time being involved with the gallery. So this summer I'm an artist in residence here. I'm working on a large furniture-based sculpture that I've actually had the idea for it for about something like 4 years. I've never been able to make it because I've never really had the space and the time. So this has been a really exciting past few weeks, actually getting to work on this big project. So I've been working on this series of kind of furniture meets anatomy hybrid sculpture pieces. I've done a bunch of pieces that they're all sort of about object-body relationships. So the series I was working on before was about prosthetic limbs and sort of the idea of what is an extension of the body and what is a support for the body, and kind of what happens to the body when it needs this kind of object intervention. So this piece is kind of related in the same thinking as that, but it's more of a large, just like a real furniture scale piece that the idea is that it's going to have these sort of couch entrail gut things that come out to sort of envelop the body. The idea is that if there is a figure kind of interacting or sitting on this piece of furniture, they're going to be sort of enveloped into it. And I have a couple kind of specific things that were inspiring me visually and conceptually for this piece. I was interested in this kind of vintage style of these like chaise lounges or fainting couches. And so reliquaries are mostly sculptural sort of vessels or different kinds of objects that contain either the actual bones and body parts of saints or things that they touched in their lives, things like that. So I found a couple of these reliquaries that were actually designed as like full body effigies of saints. So they are sculptures, they look like bodies, usually sort of lying down in these sort of dramatic poses. And they actually, if you kind of believe what you're told about these, they actually have the bones of the saint inside the statue. And I was really interested in sort of what that says about ideas of preservation and death, and kind of trying to make something beautiful out of something kind of grotesque, and all these different kinds of contrasts like that. So I think that with this kind of furniture piece, I'm also interested in those kinds of contrasts, like what is kind of comfortable and cozy, but how does that become kind of disgusting or like creepy, like it's entangling you, it's you know, engulfing or consuming you, and kind of where does that border lie between what's comfortable and beautiful and what's sort of disturbing and upsetting. And kind of tied into that way of thinking, the other source of inspiration I had for this project was this scene in Star Wars where Luke is off freezing on some planet and Han Solo cuts open some dead animal and shoves him inside to keep him warm so he doesn't get hypothermia. And you see this sort of great image of all the guts of this, you know, weird space animal. And that idea that he's being kind of saved through the death of this creature. And like all these things kind of are sort of swirling together in my mind as I'm making this project. Sort of seeing how all these different ideas intersect. At the beginning of the project, I definitely had some building challenges. It is kind of difficult to do some of the work I've been trying to do without like a real wood shop and all the kind of tools that, you know, I was able to use when I was in school, you know, sort of all these nicely stocked wood shops that exist when you're still a student. So I've done there's a couple like weird little carpentry shortcuts I've taken here. But now that the building part is mostly done and I can focus on the sort of exterior, the upholstery, and the more kind of sculpting, sewing parts of the project, I'm getting pretty excited about that. I think that's going to be really fun now that a lot of the hard carpentry stuff is done. It's been cool.